When I saw the first two Terrifier movies, I already knew everything that was going to happen going in, and I think that seriously dulled the effect of just how mean and graphic these movies really are, to the point that I hardly even touched on it in my first couple reviews. So after seeing this movie spoiler-free, allow me to correct that mistake by emphasizing that these movies are almost unprecedented in their level of violence, gore, and disturbing content. And the kills in Terrifier 3 somehow managed to push the boundaries of graphic and over-the-top material even further than the first two movies. Now, as far as the quality goes, here's where I'm at. If you are super into that stuff I just mentioned, then Christmas really has come early for you, my friend, because this may be the greatest display of practical gore effects in a film ever. It's at least a serious contender. However, if you're me, you're in a little bit more of a tough position. On the one hand, I will never be able to fully celebrate a film where people are just constantly ripped to shreds in excessive detail. There's a point where I just go, come on. Like, I know somebody has to eventually go there because that's just human nature. It's just that I don't necessarily want to be there to witness it when they do. But on the other hand, I can't deny that I did enjoy the movie overall, even if I was watching through my fingers and laughing uncomfortably at quite a few points. I'm just a sucker for the artistry that Damien Leone brings to these films. Beyond the gore effects, there are just so many elements of this movie and Damien Leone's style in general that I've come to really admire and adore. The cinematography and set designs look phenomenal. The whole thing is shot in a way that's deliberately grainy, but in a pleasant way. And that avoids the pitfalls of overly crisp digital photography and sets a great B-movie type of atmosphere. And speaking of B-movies, the plot and lore here are so B-movie, but in the best way possible. The story and characters are about on par with part 2, which is pretty good, and the crazy fantastical lore is pushed to new heights. I feel like it takes a lot of low-budget horror tropes and elevates them while still keeping the looniness intact. With the last movie, the length and pacing were a major issue for many people, including myself, and I feel like with this one, Damien Leone took those complaints to heart because the problem is basically solved here. So there's a lot going for this movie, but like the last two, there still are some issues. For one thing, the way they handled a few of the characters felt pretty unsatisfying. Also, this did not end up being the end of the series, which I kind of hoped it would be, and that means that the ending is not quite as final as it could have been. I'm stoked for the future that this movie is setting up, but for now, a lot of really badass stuff is still just being teased through flashbacks and visions. And of course, the excessive exploitative violence is always going to be a bit of a tough spot for me, no matter how good these movies do get. I'm a bit torn on how to rate this, but for now, I think I'm going to say, in my opinion, it's a light 6 out of 10.